What up? This is Rocher here from YourPdL, and I'm here with a very good friend of mine. Tell them who you are.
Hi guys, my name is Pim. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a coach and I help guys to get better skills with women.
I've seen him go through everything from with the company to the blogging and all the other stuff, and I thought it would be a very good idea to interview him so that the people that are watching get an insight of what it is and what it means to be an entrepreneur and what it takes. I want to start this off by talking a little bit about your journey, right? So, when did you start just doing personal development?
That was actually still in secondary school, so it was about 6 or 7 years ago. And at the time I was quite shy. I didn't really know how to talk to women, and I also didn't really know how to make new friends. I had a couple of good friends of mine that I hung around with, but I was struggling with making new connections outside of my already known circle. So because I was frustrated at that point, I decided, okay, this needs to change for me, and I discovered that there are people who are actually practicing improving their self-confidence by approaching lots of beautiful women. I realized okay, this is clearly something that if I put much effort in it, then I can also be good at it. So for the first few years it was just talking to a lot of girls and also getting rejected a lot. But yeah, after some while, you start to get more confident, you start to not care as much about the results, you start to have more fun with it, and results started to improve actually for me. So that was really where it all started. Yeah.
You've spent 7 years doing this, so it is a passion for you.
Yeah.
And what I love about what you've done, right, is that you took your passion and you basically used it as an expression and eventually monetized on it. So I know you have this blog, right? Or now it's a company, but it used to be a blog. It's called Man's Vision.
Yeah. It's in Dutch it's Mannenvisie.
Mannenvisie, yes.
Yeah,
Mannenvisie. Mannenvisie. It used to be something else before it was a dating company.
Yeah.
So could you talk a little bit about what it was and how you got the idea to do that?
So when I started Mannenvisie, it was back when I was studying psychology. At the time I had already improved myself a lot because I had worked on my dating skills so much. I became more interested in psychology, so I decided, okay, let's study that. And while I was studying, actually, I discovered that I found it very interesting how people are, how people think, how people function. But I also realized that it was too technical for me. I really wanted the practical stuff, the stuff that you can immediately apply. So next to my study I found out about internet marketing, about how you could reach other people through the internet and make a business out of it. So while I read about that, I realized okay, what I want to do is I want to position myself as a coach, as a trainer, and I want to grow in that subject. So why would I wait until I've finished my study and take the normal 9 to 5 within the box path if I can also just strive for freedom and do it on myself? At the time the advice was just start blogging, just start writing about something you're passionate about. So I started Mannenvisie. And I actually was passionate about a lot of stuff. Passionate about the dating progress I made. I was also passionate about fitness. And I was also passionate about the whole business thing that I just found out about. So when I started, I was actually just blogging, writing about everything. I found everything fantastic. So I was just putting it all out there. And at a certain point I realized people who are looking for something, they're not really looking for everything. They're not. Even though I find my ideas amazing, they are not looking for all my ideas. People have something specific that they want work on or they want help with. and they look for that. So I realized, like, okay, what is my special thing? What's the thing that I'm most passionate about and that I have the most, that I've made the most progress in? And I realized, okay, that's the dating part, and it's also the part that ignites the most passion in me. It was actually really a starter for me, like, because I realized, like, okay, I can learn how to approach beautiful women. I can learn to talk to girls. Afterwards, I realized, like, okay, there are a lot of other things that I thought I may not be so good at that I can probably also learn.
You know what I found very interesting in what you said? It was the part about taking the path of freedom and just kind of, instead of going with the statistical things and everything of psychology.
Yeah.
And because I remember you finished your bachelor and afterwards you started with Monovisy.
Yeah, I had already started it, but then I decided to go for it full time.
Okay. Because let's say we have a viewer here and he's in the same position as you. Mm-hmm. And maybe his surroundings, the people in his surrounding, don't agree with his decision. What kind of tip would you give him?
Yeah, that's a really good question. First of all, it depends also on what situation someone is in exactly, because what I would recommend for people who may just think about starting a business right now, or hey, you have a passion, you have something that you want to do, but you're kind of hesitant because you realize, like, it's a jump, you know, it's a jump in the unknown. You know what you're doing now, so it can be a bit scary. What my advice would be, first of all, to realize what you're doing right now, unfortunately, is also not security. Because right now we live in a time where you have no real security, you know. Finishing a studies does not mean automatically that you get a good job and you get paid a lot, you know. In the past you knew that if you finish your study you can go to a big company and you get a contract there and you work there for 40 years and then you retire. That was it. But now it's totally different, you know. You finish, you don't know if you can get a job, and if you get a job, you don't know how long you can stay there. Maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, maybe after 5 years they let you go. So there is no real security. The only security that you can get is the security that you create yourself. You know, if you create some skills that other people really need, whether it's clients of your business or other companies, if they really need your skills, then you are secure because, you know, they cannot do without you, kind of. So that's the first thing. Just realize, like, okay, even though it feels like a step in the unknown, what you're actually doing right now instead is also something in the unknown. And besides that, I would also suggest that if you want to start a business, it's really easy nowadays to do that part-time, just besides what you're doing already. So it doesn't have to be a big jump or a big leap. Actually, I wouldn't recommend anyone to just take a big jump suddenly, because, you know, it's kind of like, for me, you know, it felt really like kind of a jungle, you know. There are so many things that you need to do, so many things that you're suddenly responsible for. So I would just take it step by step. Besides your normal job or studies that you're doing right now, start something online, and when you know that people really need it and people are willing to pay for your services, then I would really go for the big jump. Yeah.
I also found your take interesting on, let's say, like, there's no security in the normal route either. Mm-hmm. Because the funny thing is, I think it was about a week ago, I met somebody else and he actually took that jump, but he didn't see it like that. So he was basically stifled and felt like he couldn't do anything because he was like, oh my god, I quit my school, what am I doing? Yeah. And because he was so nervous about that, he couldn't even work on his own company anymore. So now he's like in between. And I think advice like this would really help him.
I can totally understand how the guy feels like, because I also felt it for a long time, you know, like okay, I just decided not to go further with my master's, even though it is rationally, it's completely safe. You know, you can always return to doing your master's when you want, you know, in 5 or 10 years. But I really, I made a decision for myself, so it was clear for me, okay, I am taking this path now. And it really felt indeed like, oh shit, I'm taking this step into the unknown. But I think we're taught that the thing we have right now is security, but it's really an illusion. So after a while, it starts to sink in, and you know, like, okay, I really need to let that thing go, man. That illusion, that bubble of security that I think I have right now, and really start to work on real security for myself and freedom. Yeah.
It's a very solid take.
Yeah.
Then now I think about it, we've been through a lot really together and all that kind of stuff, and as they say, like, the people surrounding you, or you're like the average of your 5 closest friends.
Yeah.
Something Jim Rohn said, I think.
Yeah.
And how do you think that influenced you when you were making that decision? Because was everybody around you making the same kinds of decisions that helped you, or was it something where you were really kind of alone with that?
Well, of course, not everyone was doing it, but indeed, I really strongly agree that it really helps to have a peer group, you know. A lot of friends of mine and also friends of yours were busy with entrepreneurship, with starting something for themselves. I've also, in the time that after I quit my studies, when I was working for myself, I also had some jobs. For example, at a trainings company, and they taught entrepreneurs. So I was really always looking for peers that are also engaged in something like business, because you can really and you can connect just like we do. You know, you have your thing, I have my thing. We can talk about it. We can discuss our struggles, and you also get a lot of. First of all, it's just a standard. You know, you have a standard you're set for yourself. It's not really common for people who are not in business to do something if they're not supposed to do something. You know, you have to do your school. Maybe you have twice a week you go to your sport, and then you have a job outside of that. But if you're free, and you're gonna relax. You're gonna watch television or something else. You know, as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, you cannot really do that. You have to set apart your own time. And you have to have discipline on that to go and do the things important to you at those times. Because if you're free when you're free, then you're always free. And no money comes in, then you're kind of screwed after a while. Yeah, so I think I got a lot of motivation from my peers. And I really think that no one can really do this all by themselves.
What up, this is Rocher here. I hope you liked the video. If you like what Pim had to say, there will probably be a link up in the description or somewhere around this stuff right here. We will link you to his YouTube channel, Monnevisie, where he talks mainly about personal development in the context of dating. If you like this interview, there are more interviews to come, so subscribe to this channel to see more interviews, my daily vlogs, and all kinds of new interesting things. So that's all, Rocher.